Welcome to episode 12 of the Vada Studios podcast, Studio Confessions. Now, here's a story. In 1996, I just opened Vada Studios, and there was a record that came out by a band called Vent 414, which I dearly, dearly loved, produced by Steve Albini. I then got multiple tickets to multiple dates of the tour, being a super fan. And one day on the Brighton tour, the Brighton date of that tour, I was walking through town on the way back to the flat where I was living at the time and walking past the Richmond pub where Vent were playing. And I thought to myself, it's around soundcheck time. I wonder if they're there. I wonder if I can meet the band. So I duly went into the pub, and the downstairs part of the pub, the venue was in the upstairs. The downstairs was an empty bar with one man sitting there drinking a pint, and it was indeed Miles Hunt. Now, I decided to myself that I should take this opportunity to meet this guy, one of my favourite musicians, and I duly introduced myself, had a lovely chat with him for about half an hour, and my parting gesture was, I said to him, I've just opened a recording studio, here's my card, please let me record Vent 414. And he said, yeah, great. And I went on my way and went and saw the show that night and subsequent shows on that tour. 30 years later, I am sat here with Vent 414 making their second album in here, Vada Studios. Welcome, Miles Hunt, Morgan Nicholls and Pete Howard.
Hello.
Hey, Matt.
Hiya. So, we're kind of over halfway through the record now.
Yeah.
How long has it taken to make this album? And when did you decide to make the second album? And what made you decide to make the second album after 30 years?
Well, you told me we've got to make a second album.
Yeah.
I had no interest in it. Were you interested when I mentioned it to you?
Not really,
Not
no.
really.
Faintly.
You went on about it for about 8 months.
Yep.
And then, because I was working here with the One Stuff, and then about February last year, you invited me over for dinner. I wasn't working here, came for dinner. You cooked a lovely tea, and I thought he's going to mention this fucking Vent 414 record any minute. You didn't, went to bed, got up in the morning, cooked a lovely breakfast.
Standard.
I thought any minute now he's going to mention it. He didn't. And as I left about 11 in the morning, walking towards my van with my bag on my shoulder, you went, "Oh, Milo, I've got an idea. Should we make this second Vent record?" And I'm like, I was almost out of here. I was almost in the van. And I said, "Matt, I'm not writing any songs. I'm not interested." And then you said, "Yeah, but I've got a plan. If I speak to Morgan and Pete and see if they'll come up for a couple of days, just get in a room and see what happens." And I'm like, "Oh, I'll do that. I'm just not going to sit at home and write songs and bring them in for these two to spoil." and I think on that first day, so that was April last year, 24, on the first day, by the end of the day, we got 7 ideas down.
Yeah.
But we've turned all of them, I believe, into pretty damn good tracks.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know how that day was going to go. I think none of us did. I knew I wanted it to go well. I was praying to the gods of songwriting. But the magic was happening in this room, wasn't it, really? Straight away. There was something going on.
Yeah.
And I think, I think it was the only way to start this record, as you say, because like most of the time you are the songwriter. You're given the responsibility to go and write an album for the Wonder Stuff. And it's a pressure, isn't it? And after doing it for so long, I can see how it's like,
Well, my factory setting's bone idle, really always has been. But why Vent was special in the mid-90s was because I think I brought 2 songs in, maybe Fixer and Life Before You, and everything else on the record was just the 3 of us in a room. Look, have you got anything? Morgan, just start doing something. Peter, join in. So although I like Fixer and Life Before You, things like Easy to Talk, Laying Down With, those 2 definitely came from Peter Morgan. It was like, right, so round of teas, the place we used to rehearse at a cafe upstairs. And I remember going up there, coming back with a tray of teas, They never did that. And they'd started laying down with, and I'm like, no, fuck the tea, keep going, grab the guitar, and like half an hour later, there was the body of the song. And I think the best stuff that we originally did was definitely always led by Morgan and Pete.
There was a great proactive, reactive thing during that sort of demoing process that you went through, because obviously we did all the demoing here. Like every time you demoed, we just had little sessions here for 2-3 days, and you guys just jammed, and then saw what we came out with. And I think it was really exciting to see you feed off these two and get really boyishly excited by these two talent, because I mean they're an incredible rhythm section that are so unique, you know, and for seeing you go, oh, I've got an idea straight away, listening to what they were doing, I think really has a massive contributory factor to how rich this record does sound.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's got a thing, it's got a life, it's got an energy that I don't think that any songwriter would necessarily have if they were just locked away on their own writing it.
Yeah.
And how long did we do? How long were demos?
How many sessions did we do?
Yeah, how many
3?
songs?
3.
Did we do 3?
It was 3.
But that was the most intimidating part, was the idea of jamming again, because really since then, since the first record, I don't think I'd been in a band where we did that.
Yeah,
where you sat in a room and followed each other. I mean, it's all been about learning songs and perfecting songs in other, you know, that were already done in everything I've done since then, really. So I was much more intimidated by the idea of jamming again, because you have to get back into your 25-year-old
old school
head.
way of doing it, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
The whole
But it's
concept
actually,
of doing it, you know,
it's
that
like
way.
anything, really. The fear of doing it was much worse than actually
It was made
doing
out of
it.
fear, this record.
Yeah,
Made of Fear.
Terror.
Album title.
The fear of failing.
Yeah. It's interesting, really, because, I mean, that's the way the Wonder Stuff started. It was just 4 blokes in a room. Mal could bring a riff in, and then everyone would join in. Certainly on the first album, no one sat on a sofa at home with an acoustic guitar and wrote it. It was done. Same for the first Vent record, same for this one, which, you know, sitting in front of a computer at home as a songwriter, it has its uses. But I think in terms of a rock record, it's really it's the most obvious and brilliant way to do it, is get in a room. And, I mean, fair enough, have some like lyric notes, a few chord changes or a riff, but don't. Those days, I shall never do that again. Sit at home and try and write and demo a bunch of songs.
We've got into an era, I've said this to other bands, it's a natural era of the songwriter will work with Logic or Pro Tools or whatever at home, and they build something, and there's so many times when I go into the studio with a band, the song that we're recording, they've never played it through as a band before.
Yeah.
It's, you know, there's MIDI drums, there's all the guitar parts in there, there's the vocals, that's the demo, and then everybody's got to work out what they're playing.
Yeah.
And it's funny, by doing this record like this, made me remember how there's a special thing there. There's a conduit that runs through it, that when you do put a band in the room, it's more organic, and it does create something much more exciting, I think.
Yeah.
So how long was it? Yeah, how many songs did we get in the demos? I can't really remember. There was more than we needed, I know that.
Probably 15 or 16.
Yeah.
But in saying that, you know, sitting at home and working on Logic or whatever, a computer, I did it for one of these tracks that's on this new album. You did it for 2.
Yeah.
So Bite Me and New Intent,
Yeah.
you pretty much put them together at home. And Blowing Smoke is the one that I did at home. And Blowing Smoke has actually been the most awkward to work on, because certainly my head locked into what the original idea was at home. So we've had about 3 runs it, I think, and it's about getting, well, it's the demo-itis, isn't it? Getting stuck with you can't release from your mind what the original demo idea was. But we've managed to do it. It's like, Pete, completely change this, please. From any programming that I did, Morgan, just do anything that you want to do, and then you're allowed to let go of the demo.
I mean, I think as well, the thing is with that is that when you have a drummer and a bass player that sort of musically speak so much, you know, there's lots of bands and lots of albums where, okay, you can have a straight 4/4 kind of beat and you can program that in, and okay, there might be a few more fills on the actual record, but it's linear. The basic linear aspect of the drums and the rhythms section is kind of there. Whereas these two translated stuff straight away. And you know, there were beats that Pete did that we said, it's like, who thinks like that? Yeah, right? Who
a
actually,
good thing, right?
It's a great thing.
Okay.
And again, that's a lost art, you know, to have that kind of personality. But I mean, we didn't use all of the songs, did we?
There's like two that. Well, we did one here, and it was a gentle, atmospheric one. And I took it home and started working on like a melody for it, and then you said, "Well, I've taken that a bit further." And then sent me what he'd done, and it was like flamenco Spanish guitars.
Oh yeah, that one.
And I'm like, I couldn't even figure out the root notes to figure out like what's he doing? And then that's just been abandoned, really.
Yeah, no, that was sort of.
Morgan got too flash on that one.
Yeah.
Give him an inch.
Yeah, it'll go on the shelf. Get used to something, some sort of like some weird soundtrack,
Some
or
little
something.
B-side, whatever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what in your opinions defines a great record? And so, in terms of that, bearing that in mind, what parameters do you have to go in the studio? You know, it's like, right, well, that's what I think a great record should be. So therefore, I'm going to apply that ethos to what I contribute on this record.
You've made a lot of good records. You answer that.
I don't know if I can really. What was it again? I was just listening to my tummy rumble. I just realised I was having a bad breakfast. Can everyone else hear it?
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Yeah. So, well,
I thought that was your answer.
what are your parameters? What are your guidelines to yourself in terms of making a good record? What do you want it to be?
I don't know. I've never really thought about it really, but I mean, it just has to mean something, you know, and have some sort of depth to it, I guess, which I think this one has. You know, I think, like we've sort of been saying, the way that it was approached, I think it sort of covered all the bases really. And there's some, you know, Miles doing his thing, some catchy choruses in there, and it's just everyone's contributed in their own way.
Yeah.
And we've got a good thing, I think.
Yeah. Do you have preconceived ideas, Pete, when you go into a record, or do you just like...
Well, as I say, it's really difficult. If the songs are written before you get in there, then you just have to do what's already done. But, I mean, what makes a great record is a certain level of kind of honesty.
And lots of drum fills.
Yeah, and an attempt to get me on the cover of Modern Drummer, you know, I mean, which is all I really want. Then I can retire, basically. But I actually think if somebody's speaking to you musically with their own vocabulary and you get a hint of that rather than it just being something that you can do at home, I think that's the thing that hooks you in and draws you in. So like flaws and even not so much mistakes, but just kind of accidental things that turn into your style and then become what you really like. And as I say, honesty is kind of really important in the musical side, I think, you know, in songs. Because then it means something, it becomes personal to the listener.
Yeah. I mean, it was an interesting one for me because, I mean, I like all the bands that I work with, but this was a band that, I mean, I loved that record. When I built the very first Vada Studios, and I did most of it myself, there were two albums I was listening to on repeat, and it was the Vent album and then the Deconstruction album, you know, the Eric Avery and Dave Navarro. Yeah. And it was literally finish one album, onto the next, and then I'd switch back to the Vent album, then the Deconstruction album. And so I so vehemently knew what I perceived as the spirit of this band. It felt quite easy for me to make this record because I kind of knew what I was looking for.
Yeah.
And yet we have taken it to a different... Well, we certainly presented it in a different fashion.
Because but there was no point in trying to make another Albini record.
No.
Like, that was done, but the core sound that the three of us make is still the same as what we did 30 years ago. But I think what we've done with all the experience we've had with the various projects and records that we've made in the last 30 years is to bring more to it. So in my head, when you finally bullied me into doing a second Vent record, yes, your fault, was, okay, well, at the core of it, it has to have that sound from 96, but then it needs to explore all the different directions, and I think we've done a good job without spoiling that core sound.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, on the first Vent record, there's no overdubs. The vocals an overdub, and that's it. There's no extra guitar.
It was all tracked fully live, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Abbey Road.
Yeah.
Dropping in wasn't even a thing, was
No, you
it?
couldn't even drop in.
Did he not allow you to do
one of
that?
you made a mistake or hadn't,
Yeah.
actually, Steve, can we? He goes, okay, go back and start again. You'd have to play the whole song again. Yeah.
Wow.
It was a nice discipline, and it was only 7 days, and the album I'd made previous to that took 5 months.
Yeah, right.
And I did not want to hang around in the studio for 5 months working on the same 12 songs ever again for the rest of my life. So Steve giving us that discipline to me was like, oh, you can make a record like this. This is brilliant.
I mean, I suppose at that point as well, there was an element, because you ended the Wonder stuff like a year and a half prior. Imagine as an artist, your mind said, I want to be as far away as everything from that as possible. That whole ethos, that whole makeup, setup, everything, sound, approach. And, well, I mean, would you say you've not really been running away from anything on this one, have you, really? It's just been, there was a band and it's like, you know how it sounds.
Yeah. I mean, I was thrilled that I think I had a little tear in my eye even once we started whatever the first track, I think on the album it's Infrequent was the first thing that we did. I haven't told you the titles of the song since I finished the lyrics, so that's...
I was going to say, I don't even know this. Infrequent, what's that?
Once in a while.
Oh, yes, right,
Once in a while
okay.
it's going to be called Infrequent.
Right.
And just when, so Pete started to B, I don't know, all right, I've got this in B, and then Morgan comes in, locks in with Pete. I think I had to look away from both of you. I was just like, oh, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
This feels like, I'm going to sound like a total tosspot, but it's like, it feels like home.
Yeah. It's that thing again, isn't it? It's like when you start in music, you're young, you're probably a teenager, you start doing it, you're excited, you're romantic about it. And I think as you learn more, it's like looking at the wizard behind the curtain. You sort of, you lose a little bit of that. And that's the one thing I loved about when we first started the demoing, and there was excitement from all of you, and just because, you know, when you're sort of 13, 14 and you go to rehearse every week because you want to.
Yeah.
And that, you know, like, whereas now it's like, oh, fuck. Do we have to rehearse?
No, they used to always come into the
bands.
rehearsal room and say your time's up, and you go, well, it's good, you know.
Yeah, you have a bit longer.
Yeah.
Can't imagine that now, can you?
Now it's like, when do we finish?
How much longer are we here?
Yeah. Do we need to rehearse the last half of the set?
No, we know it.
It's all right.
We'll be all right, it's fine.
Yeah.
So were there any songs from the demo? I mean, we did use most of them, but are there any sort of songs that you sort of go, oh, I did love that, but we didn't get used? Or do you reckon you picked everything that you really wanted to?
No, we've used the good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, all of it was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was all exciting ideas. I think a lot of bands do that. You know, there's those technical decisions that you go, okay, I do really love that song, but it's not right for this record. But I think everything had its own flavour, didn't it? It did.
Yeah.
They all felt very coherent.
Yeah.
Even though there's a good bit of big difference on.
You've also been. You've been the production job that you've done has been great in terms of, so for those jams we would get like 2 changes, so there's a bit in B, is a bit in A, and then I think you let us work for about 45 minutes on each idea we had, definitely on that first day, and then you recorded that 45 minutes, and then you just said, all right, stop that, have a cup of tea, and then come in with another idea. And that was great, because so you never laboured over, should we get this right? Should we try and write the fucking perfect song and spend all day on it? It's like, no, you're allowed 45 minutes on each idea, which was great. And like the way that you've had a vision for it, because you said how much you loved the first record. It's like, get that. So it's almost like you've been the boss, and I've been trying to please you for the last year and a half.
Well, bless you.
Really?
It was really cool for me, from my angle. I don't get the opportunity very often to make a record as a fan. Right. You know, I mean, obviously we've done Wonder Stuff records together, and that was like that. But that was much earlier in my career as well. So I felt like I had more minerals now. And then, but crossing all that experience with the whole fact that I'm still a boyish fan and I love that record, definitely put a different slant on it for me, you know. And I think there's a lot of things that I'm pleased with from my angle that I just think, yeah, that probably wouldn't have happened if it was just a regular, I'm doing another album.
Yeah.
So what would you say for each of you was your favourite moment of making this record so far?
Day one, like I just said,
yeah.
hearing that lunatic sound of Morgan's and watching his fingers go, like, what's he doing? That's what it always was, whether we were on stage or in the rehearsal room or the studio. What is it? And I have absolutely no understanding of what you're doing.
Well, I was just glad the bass worked, to be honest. After it broke,
It did on the first
literally
section.
the first hit of the first string, that was it. It decided then to give up, which was kind of, I kind of thought, I hope this isn't an omen that this bass I've been playing for like 35 years or whatever, decided then to sort of wear out.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're using the same bass that you've used for 40 odd years.
Something like that, yeah, ridiculous, but yeah.
The same bass used in the Census things.
Yeah. So
And the Vent
from
record.
the 80s, yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Pete, yes, your best moment, probably when you stopped having to see my face.
Yeah, that was definitely in the top 10 when I'd stopped listening to you. That was a fruitful day. Actually hearing stuff back, you know, because you know when you make an album with Steve Albini, as he said himself, it's kind of like if you don't like what you hear, you don't like yourself. So he just kind of records it, and it's brutal when you first hear it, but actually hearing it just niced up a little, just, you know, without without all the warts and all the sticky out hairs and stuff, it sounded really good, and it actually gave me more and more confidence that we were actually working in it, and it clicked in really well. You know, as I say, because it had been such a big gap, and I'd not been in the circumstance of jamming, to actually realise that it was still something that you could do and produce things was brilliant. The first time going back in there and listening to a couple of ideas, it was really, really good, because that was, as I said, that was the thing I was the most worried about, that it would just end up sounding like, you know, clumsy or wrong, and it didn't. It was like there was still a kind of intuitive thing going on, which was the whole point of the Vent thing in the first place. It was a lot of intuition, I think. So that was really reassuring.
Yeah. What about you, Milo? Exactly like the overall, the one moment that you'd say.
Yeah, just first time, day one, hearing Pete and Morgan lock in, and then I suppose after that, when you sent me home with like an edit, a rough arrangement of an idea we'd tried. And I was putting little bits of Vazzy vocals on, trying to find a melody when we were in this room, but mostly I went home and did that. And then putting them into Logic and being able to mix Pete and Morgan, and it was just fucking hell, this band sounds really good. That was a big smile on my face. And also just thinking, this is going to work, innit?
Yeah, right.
This is actually going to work.
That was a moment for me, because I put so much pressure and nagged you, and I was like, I reckon I could really smash this, Milo. We could make a really good record together. And then when it was finally agreed and was like, all right, we're making the record, I'm thinking,
we should never have done that.
I'm thinking like, oh, please don't make me look like a So there was a bit of relief there. I was very relieved, but it was that special moment when you first all fired up together. I remember getting the fizz, just sat in there going, oh yeah, this was a good idea.
Yeah.
This was a good idea. So it was like a magical moment and pure relief at the same time.
Yeah.
That
because I'd sort of tried to put the lineup back together on the last solo album I did. There was that song, We Can All Do Better, and I'd written it at home. Luke Johnson did me some drum programming, and then I thought, dare I ask Morgan if he'll throw some bass on this? And you did, and then you recorded the drums here, didn't you? And I was really like, wow, it's Vent. We've got the Vent sound just for one track on that solo album of mine. But actually we didn't. we didn't get the vent sound. It might have been the people, but because we hadn't, the three of us, worked, agreed, disagreed, refined, like the way we have here, we didn't get the vent sound. I've listened to that recently and gone, how does that stand up next to what we've done for this album? I'm like, it doesn't.
I do remember when we were tracking the drums on your solo album, and it was that song, and I remember you and I looking at each other, and we did say, that's Pete Howard and Morgan Nicholls playing together. And it was a bit of a, and I think that's when my mind went, wouldn't it be nice if we...
So it is my fault.
It is your fault. Everything's your fault. We've agreed this already this morning. So, talking about rigs and a bit of studio boring shit. I mean, we've not strayed from the gear that you were using on the first album. I mean, obviously you haven't changed anything.
Including the strings.
The strings are probably the same age.
Yeah, been boiled a lot.
I mean, what is your main go-to rig without giving away your secret sound?
Well, it's a bi-amped setup, so the bottom end is separate to the top end. It's an old way of doing it, really, but it's what I used in the senseless things back in the day, and it's basically just a guitar, Marshall guitar head and doing a top end and just a normal bass amp doing a bottom end. But I did for this one. A good friend of mine, Aid Emsley, he made me my bass rig in a pedal. And it's now called the Bass Butler or something, and so it is that rig, but in a much easier format to use, and it's kind of worked out pretty good actually for this, and it's a lot less hassle.
Less to carry around.
Less to carry, So I'll probably use that live, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically it. That's my setup, and the good thing about using it that way is that you can mix the top end separately to the bottom, and from that side of things, from the recording side of it, it's a lot easier.
It's been brilliant. I mean, to be honest, it's a way that I've never dealt with bass before, and it's kind of opened up. Although I probably wouldn't do it exactly the same, because then it would just kind of have that thing. It's your thing, but having the top end and the especially with that growly, distorted bass sound, and then the clean low end for the subs and stuff like that. It was just so easy to blend and get exactly what we wanted.
Yeah, well, that was always the thing when back in the day especially playing with the senseless things, because there's two guitars to fight with. Yeah, and they'd layer up one after the other. It was just white noise by the end, and so I sort of found that by having my top end separate meant that, and I'd always do the bass last after and so you could find a hole for it, if there was one. So, but you could sort of deal with it, you could. It was a way forward.
Yeah. I mean, your rig. Did you use Marshall on the first album?
Orange, wasn't it?
I had the big orange cab, didn't I? But I don't think I used an orange amp. I think I used like a JCM 900 that was hanging around in the Wonder Stuff's lockup. Right. I think, and then the SGs. So getting away from the big semi-acoustic feel and sound. I think what was most important in terms of how I was playing guitar was Morgan, when we first started jamming Vent in 95, 96, Morgan showed me the Dadgad tuning.
Oh, yeah.
And so loads of songs came out, Fixer, Life Before You, there's probably a couple of others. And that was like almost giving me a new instrument. Yeah.
We've used on this record. We've used a 70s brown cloth Marshall head.
Right. I didn't even look at it.
No, you don't care, do you?
Don't care.
No. And I know you do care, because all of a sudden you've started liking guitars and effects pedals.
I've bought too many guitars during this. Yes, and effect. You're costing me a fortune.
My fault.
Again.
We have had the trusty SG. Obviously,
yes,
in
of course,
there. And then you've used those Gretsch. Those Gretsch guitars.
What are they called? I've forgotten the names of them now, but yeah, sort of.
The green one and the red one.
The green one and the red one. The red one stays in Dadgad. The green one stays in a regular tuning. Yeah. Did we use the Telecaster maybe for some light? And then we used was it a Fender 6 or
baritone,
the baritone, just for different tones. And I've never been interested in guitar sounds. It's always been Malk's area with the Wonder stuff, and I just a bit of gain on it, and I'm quite happy. But you've taught me that it is important to try and achieve a good guitar sound.
It is, and I think how many pedals have you bought? Was it
2 that I thought, well, this will do it, that were medium range on the price, and then bought them in here, and you went, yeah, I can see what you're trying to get at. Try this and try this instead. And they're not medium range prices. They're very expensive. So I've had to go and buy those 2, and now I've got to flog the 2 medium range ones. But,
that was the, it was the Angry Rhubarb.
Angry Rhubarb. Yeah,
Redbeard Effects.
Yeah, brilliant.
It's great. I've
really good.
I've used it a lot on a lot of records. It's so versatile, and it's such a great pedal. And then the Jack White, the triple graph.
Yeah, that gives you the octaves.
Yeah, which just looks like a great piece of gear.
That's really
as well.
why the only reason I wanted to own it, because it looks amazing. But no, it also does an amazing job, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Really special sounds. Yeah.
And then Pete, your setup.
Whatever you had lying around, really. Sorry, I dozed off for a bit when you were talking about guitars. You should have given me an elbow in the neck.
Yeah.
The round ones.
Yeah. What did you? There was a 10-inch, 10, 12, 16, 18.
It's just saying numbers, isn't it?
I know. It could be anything. 3.5.
Yeah.
1863.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
I don't know. To be honest, it was what you had because I felt like you'd be familiar with it. And honestly, I've never really gone after any. Look, I just think with most drummers that you could give them a Chad Valley drum kit and you'd know it was them. You know, I mean, it's sort of how you play rather than what you hit.
And also, again, the way you tune a drum kit is so you. Like I've never worked with any drummer that tunes their kit like you tune your kit. It's a really definitive sound, I think, that you have.
Mabes, I mean, I just sort of, I don't know how people tune drums perfectly. I don't really know what that means. So I just have to tune it the way I like to hear it, if you know what I mean. But I mean, you can get little machines that you put on the side of the drum which tell you the perfect tension and stuff like that, and that's just a nightmare for me, really.
It's not your
Thinking
bag.
in that way, it just doesn't work for me at all.
Can I ask you 2 questions about drums? What size sticks do you use? Somebody might think that's important. No, but the other one is important. When a record's mixed,
Yeah.
let's say you're earphoning it,
Yeah.
do you like to hear the drums mixed in a in the position where you play from, or do you like to hear from if you were standing in an audience, so you're hearing the kit the other way around, or do you not care at all?
I do care, I think, but I haven't really thought about it in those terms. I always thought that thing was a Neumann head. Was it? You remember it was an actual head with a microphone and
The binaural thing.
Yeah, I always thought that was a kind of interesting idea because you get like an honest representation of what they sound. I don't know really. I think it's more about where you're sitting, not you, me.
Yeah.
Where the drummer's sitting.
Yeah.
Would be the most that would be the most natural sound.
Yeah.
That's the way I do my kits.
Is that the way you do it? From
I
the
always,
drummer's point of
yes,
view?
the hi-hats are on the left.
Have you ever been to a gig where you're watching the drummer and he's, as people, you right-handed, yeah, but the sound engineer out front has mixed the kit the other way around?
I honestly never noticed that. Wow.
You should pay
Have
attention
you?
more
Well,
to your
you
craft.
should shut up more.
No, I've never noticed, but I'm going to start looking.
Oh yeah, okay.
I'm going to
Well,
start
I might-
looking out for
That's
this.
a really
that would mean
interesting
that if you did a drum roll all the way round,
Yeah.
the
would
sound's
go
going
that
the
way.
opposite way.
And
So
you're
that
watching
doesn't make any sense.
No,
to
it'd be
me.
horrible.
Yeah, it'd be
You might
weird.
fall over.
Get vertigo.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, it's a very valid point, and it's a big debate,
Yeah.
isn't it? Because it is. Some people,
What is now?
there's some bands that I've worked with, and they'll say, "Oh no, can we have the kit as if you're looking at it?"
Right.
And then that spanners me out for the rest of the session because I'm just like, don't like it. But weirdly, some of my favourite records are done as if you're looking at the kit. Strangely.
I've only thought about that because you've asked me. Actually,
It's
I
going to
never
drive you
thought
nuts
it really
now.
is. Now.
Because also
Yeah.
it depends whether you're earphoning or if you were sitting in front of your very well set up hi-fi, then you would want it like a gig, wouldn't you? You'd want it the other way around.
I think, there's a couple of Led Zeppelin tracks where the tom-tom fills go round from the way they should, and I think, I definitely like it from the point of view of the drummer. Yeah, definitely.
Good, we've cleared that up then.
Excellent. So, name one thing you love about being in the studio, and then one thing you hate about being in the studio. And obviously between the three of you, you've had a fair bit of experience over the years making records. So that kind of applies to not just this record, but your general thing that's always been there. One thing you love and one thing you hate about being in the studio.
Morgan Nicholls?
I just the whole... the recording process has just always been, starting with nothing and then ending up with something that you've got no idea what you're going to end up with, really, no matter how you plan for it. That's always been the exciting thing about recording. Yeah, and I know from the first time I recorded, off the radio, onto a cassette when I was 10 years old or whatever, and the excitement of that and playing it back, I've always had that, I think. And that's kind of my, that's why I still do it.
And you have your own studio.
Yeah.
So you must kind of like it.
Yeah.
So what do you hate about it then?
What do I hate about it? Only when things go wrong, when things break and stop me in my tracks. I think that's the only time it gets a bit frustrating, which is, as you know, happens all the time. Or hard drives not working or something like that. But apart from that, no, I enjoyed the whole process.
So you are a studio animal, really, aren't you?
I do like it, yeah. And I like being here. I wish my studio was here.
Well, you can come and work here. You can bring bands in here anytime you like, or,
Yeah.
Please do. Yeah. What about you, Milo?
On this record, the love would be I don't have to have anything to do with the mouse, the keyboard, or a screen. I'm barely looking at screens because having done, since all that came into musicians' lives and studio world, I despise using computers now at home. So just watching you and George and Georgia do all of that, I'm like, this is great. Love that. The hate, and it's always been the same with me, whether I'm demoing at home or in a lovely studio, is the second and a half before I have to sing. When you do an actual vocal take, it doesn't happen when you just put a rough guide down. When you do an actual vocal take, swallowing and taking the breath, a second and a half before the first word, I go into an absolute panic. And I'm going to choke on the spit I'm trying to swallow.
Even now?
It's never gone away.
Wow.
And a general, red light fever, isn't it? The general anxiety. Not with guitars, because I know I don't really know what I'm doing with the guitar, so whatever will happen, will happen. But I do try to take singing seriously. And that anxiety and the panic of, is it breathe or is it swallow? I can't remember.
Because you're really fluent. I find you very fluent in the studio, guitar and vocals.
Right.
There's never any visual sign of you kind of getting that red light fever for me.
Okay.
Even though you sort of go, I'm not a great guitarist, you're so tight, you're so on it, and you seem so calm and relaxed with it.
So I've learned to hide it.
Yeah.
But it's the internal anxiety is still there every time. Yeah.
How about you, Pete? You just hate being in the studio?
I don't hate it. I just hate the fact that I have to listen to you lot talk about technical stuff all the time. And I haven't got the slightest clue what you're talking about. And I literally, it's like windscreen wipers going across my eyes. And I'm just like, what? What I really like about it is being able to rectify mistakes, is being able to kind of actually, the spirit of things is all well and good, but if you can go back in and go, well, like we were doing today when I said that sounds like AJ Soprano playing the drums at this point, and I like to be able to kind of go, actually, I can't just blag that anymore. And I love the opportunity. When you're playing live, you don't think like that because you don't have the option. When you're in the studio, without being too self-referential and without going on about it, you do have the opportunity to make things a little better. I don't mean redoing the whole thing or lying. I just mean, oh God, that bit sounds like bollocks. Let's go and do that. Or I should go and do that again. Yeah. It's the overview. I like the technical stuff. Honestly, it really, really makes me quite upset.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've learned this
Yeah.
the hard way.
Yeah.
Mind you, the first time I ever spoke to you, and I have to bring this up, you told me to fuck off. I asked after one of the Vent gigs, I think it was the Birmingham show, and I managed to get my little set list, and I went up to Pete and I said, Pete, can you sign this, please? Oh, fuck off. That's how you treat fans. But I loved it.
That's why
and
I
I went home happy, Pete.
Yeah, well, it was a long time ago. I don't know if I do that anymore.
Yeah. So
You can try again now.
can you sign this, please?
Fuck off!
So, again, to each of you, although the album's not finished yet, but what would you say your favourite song on the album is?
Can't be done. Can't be done. And
It's hard to say if they're not finished, but definitely, I don't know what you've called it now. Jangle Energy, what was it? What's it called?
Would we dump that one?
No.
Your favourite
Oh,
one
you
is
mean,
the one that we
right,
got.
okay.
Okay.
Thingy,
the Empath.
Empath, yeah, that one's definitely.
Okay.
Every single time I put it on.
What I like is because we've got. Okay, so can you remember any of the stupid titles that we had? Rather
Into Costa Clavicle.
yeah.
Copeland's Rim.
So viewers, I had nothing to do with the first titles that these three gave them. To me, they were just idea one, idea two. And then I've given them so I know them as idea one, idea two. You know them as Into Costa Clavicle, whatever that means.
What was the Otter one?
Oh, Prolific Otter.
Yeah. And then I would give them like a working title as I go into the lyrics, and then the final. So each time we're all here, or I've been here doing vocals, and you pull them up, I don't know what the next one is. So Milo, this is Prolific Otter. And then you hit the space bar, and I'm like, oh, and I think I always say, oh, I really like this one. I mean, I like them all, but they all sound still really fresh and
Exciting.
yeah, and there's the mix up with the titles, and then just this one, this one's
I'm
really
still
good.
a bit like that now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I have listened to them a lot at home when drunk, slapping myself on the back.
I'm fucking great.
No wonder people love me.
I don't.
What about you, Morg?
I think Lucinda is sort of kind of standing out.
I think that's
as
for me.
quite a powerful,
Really?
powerful piece. Yeah,
I
think
find-
lyrically, and
You've listened to some lyrics on.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I think that's kind of sort of come out of nowhere, really. Just turned into a bit of a monster track.
Yeah, it's
Every time I hear it, it's like, but it gets to the end, and it's like it's a powerful piece.
It's an emotional, it's very emotionally charged, and it's definitely one of my favourites, but probably not necessarily for musically. It's just this emotion that's been captured on record, and from just my point of view, I'm really proud of what we've achieved on that. I mean, I can't listen to that song without every single time we listen to it, even recording on it or playback, I get emotional.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever had that with any song I've worked on. It's an incredibly powerful song.
It's going to be a tricky one to do live.
Yes. Yes, I can imagine.
From the point of view of not letting the emotion overtake me when I'm singing it.
Yeah, but at the same time delivering it with the emotion that it's required.
Yeah.
You know, that
viewers, it's called Lucinda Came in Colours, and it's about a very real, very sad situation. So that's the one that we're talking about, and you can listen to it and find out for yourself eventually.
So would you say, I mean, obviously we've approached this record differently. Steve Albini obviously went for the whole live, capture it in 7 days. We've added a little bit more. We've gone for more production and a slight sort of more polished approach in a way, but still keeping it raw. Would you say that would you say the ethos has felt the same, even though that's the process has been different? Or would you say the fundamental sort of recording values have changed with all of you since the first record? I mean, there's a 30-year gap between the two, so that in itself is going to make a difference. But
Well, there were no screens to stare at. I often wonder now, what did we all look at in the studio?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because everyone, even if you're not really paying attention to what's happening on the screen, looking at the multi-track, everyone's staring at it.
Yeah.
So what did we used to look at? I can't remember. Anyway, well, the way also that we did the Albini album, the songs were written. He said, go out and do 7 days worth of gigs, then a day off, mainly I think just to rest my voice, and then go into the studio, and we recorded the album, I think I'm right saying this, twice every day. So we played it in track-listed order, and he was mixing it as we were going along. So that I've never done that. No other situation. And I think during the week he might get in early in the morning and choose the versions that he wants. He would then choose the versions that I would sing on.
Yeah.
Which I had to talk him into that, because he said, "What do you mean you want to do the vocals after?" I'm like, well, look, I'm playing guitar and singing. I'm not a great singer. I'm not a great guitarist. So they're both going to be awful if I have to do both at the same time. And then he goes, what do you do when you do a gig? Do you do an instrumental set? The other guys go off and you come back and do an a cappella set? Fucking sing the songs, asshole. And I'm like, no, I've got to do the vocal separately.
He's got a point.
Yeah, no, he had a lot of points, Steve, bless him. So, yeah, I mean, it's an entire... You can't compare the two sessions, really. I mean, the creative side of it is... So in the Wonder stuff, up to that point, I was undoubtedly a bully. I want it this way. No, you can't play that, and things like that. It wasn't always like that every day, but I wanted the fucking last say on everything. But when we did Vent, to me it was I can't really add anything to what Morgan's doing with a comment. Same with Pete.
Yeah.
So that's remained the same. So you two just do what the fuck you like. You have my total trust and envy. So I think that's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about for you two? The rhythm section.
What?
You just bumble through it still.
Just bumble through, yeah. Just play as many notes as quick as possible. race to get to the end, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So whoever gets to the end first wins.
Oh, brilliant. Well, it's been amazing making this record with you guys. Yeah. And it's a record I'm really proud of, and I really can't wait for people to hear it.
Well, we couldn't have done it without you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, bless you. Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Lovely.
And looking forward to seeing you live. Mm-hmm. See this bad boy performed live.
Yeah. We haven't really talked about that yet.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Great.
Thanks, Matt.
Cheers, mate.